Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, here to talk about another summer 2018 anime series that is really testing my patience, and that is Hanebado. With the ninth episode, it just really began to become peak of ridiculous for me. Words like goofy and stupid and ridiculous were all sort of revolving around my brain watching this particular episode because they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. By that I mean they have largely made their main characters, Nagisa and Ayano, unlikable. Nagisa from the very beginning was immediately unlikable. She was almost entirely unlikable through the first and second full episodes of the series. It wasn't until the very end of episode 2 that she finally broke a smile and came down to earth again and seemed a little more relatable and began to be friendly with the surrounding characters. Once again, her badminton club, team and everything. And Ayano was kind of sort of more approachable, more likable from the very beginning. But then suddenly she went schizo. And now she is supremely unlikable. And they sort of, this whole episode is bounding back and forth between these two extremes, these two contrasts. When Ayano loses her crap over her little whale shark keychain, the crown broke off of it, and you just see the stub of glue left over in its aftermath. She's losing it, and they go out on the town. Her rivals in Connie and her friend, they come, and Connie's trying to make amends with her because of the relatability between them. They're kind of, half sisters. Connie's more so adopted, I guess you could say. But she's trying to relate to Ayano, and you see Ayano sort of come back down to earth a little bit. And it's like, okay, where is this personality trait? Where is this version of the character that I want to see so desperately, rather than the crazy eyes, psycho Ayano that we've been getting for episode after episode? Because she's in the zone, she's in the badminton zone, she's in the I'm gonna walk out on my mom the way she walked out on me zone. And so she's mean to everybody and completely and totally unlikable, unrelatable. She's even, in one of the previous episodes, bad-mouthing, Nagisa while she's in a tournament, saying Nagisa's not good enough. I'm even better than her, and I'm not even going to watch it because F her. She doesn't know what she's doing. And just, she's turning on everyone. She's completely turned on everyone. And so in this episode, we completely have a 180-degree turn of this character where she's back to a more likable, more approachable personality. But for what? To what ends? Because it ends up just bringing it back around to the unlikable version of her in the end. And the whole aspect, this show has a great, sort of quality in making me feel more so for the adversaries, the antagonists, Connie in this case, than the actual main characters. Connie is coming to make an amends with Ayano, to want to become a family, broach the idea, extend the olive branch of being a familial relation with Ayano, and just, burying the hatchet, so to speak. And she even dares to hope that maybe, somehow, by some stretch of the imagination, Ayano and her mother, the adopted mother of Connie, can make amends between themselves as well, and they can be a unit. They can be a triumvirate of familial love and all this stuff, which Ayano, from the get-go, she's going to shoot it down one way or the other. She's psycho. She's schizoid right now. She's not going to go along with it. And the thing that's frustrating is there are people who are just blindly sort of praising the characterization of this show. They're praising seeing Ayano come back down to earth, and they're just sort of turning a blind eye to all of the other rest of the time where Ayano is completely unapproachable, unlikable, unrelatable. And just, she is her characterization is a thorough turnoff. Much in the same way, I'm surprised I got past the first two episodes, which put a lot of focus on Nagisa, in the fact that she was so unlikable and unapproachable, and she was a real, just a right bitch to her teammates and in that training zone and everything like that. And once she and Ayano are bounding off of each other, we kind of see Nagisa come back down to earth a little bit, realizing there's more to life than just this badminton thing. And even though she's got the wounded knee and she's really wearing it thin, it's like I almost don't care because there hasn't been enough of her personality. We've been focusing more so on the complete and utter lack of personality with the Ayano character, in her unlikability, in her being psychotic and mean, and the way she's mistreating everyone and being very pithy and dismissive about everyone. It's just like, why should I care about any of these characters at this point? Why should I have any, invested interest in them? I care more about Connie at the end of this episode, as I say. The adversary, the nemesis, if you will, the antagonist to our main characters, because of how she is so grossly shot down by Ayano. And Ayano backhands her, basically. And here she went out of her way, she snuck off on her own when they're in the arcade, and her friend ends up getting the big Weiwei backpack thing, and Ayano's losing her crap over that, which is the more cute, approachable Ayano. But here Connie goes out of her way to sneak off and try to get her a replacement keychain. And she manages to do it, and it broke my ever-loving heart when she comes back and she's like, oh, what's all this stir going on over here? Hearing Ayano's, incredulous screams of joy and everything about the big backpack. And she just sort of pockets the keychain because that was going to be her opportunity. It was kind of ripped right out from under her by happenstance. It wasn't like something that happened purposefully to undermine what Connie was trying to do. But the way Ayano is so mean and schizoid, it's just like, I feel so much for Connie. She comes in a rival to Ayano. We're going to have our badminton battle and everything like that. Where we left off, what we promised. But she's come with that secret underlying message of extending the olive branch and saying, please be my sister. Please welcome me with open arms. Acknowledge that I want us to be a family. I want us to be together, even though we're of two different, upbringings, and we share the same sort of mother and that whole dynamic and our background in badminton and everything. It's something that's important to each of us, no matter what our skills are, no matter how better or worse one or the other of us is to the other. Let's be a family. Let's embrace each other. And I'm like, well, hell yes. I was rooting for the antagonist, and I felt bad for the antagonist by the end. And I also was really incredulous, not only with Ayano's behavior, which I have been over the past few episodes, but what about the mother? Pardon my expression, but what a cunt. To walk out on Ayano, and then in this flashback, as Connie's recollecting back to, the discussions between she and this adoptive mother, how the mother first approached her to begin with. Oh, I want to be your mom. I want to train you and be your mommy dearest. Yeah, mommy dearest is pretty much close to the mark in expressing how this, woman was a mother to these two daughters. Connie, as a kid, is going through her photos on her phone, and she sees a photo of the mother with Ayano, and she's like, oh, who's that? Oh, well, that's my daughter. She's kind of your big sister. All the while, she had already knowingly walked out on Ayano, abandoned her. What right do you have to sit there and talk to your adoptive daughter with a smile on your fucking face, pardon my French, about the daughter you abandoned as if she's your older sister? Oh, she's my other daughter. She's your older sister. Hunky-dory. Oh, by the way, I abandoned her. I scarred her for life because I didn't appreciate her worth. I never found any worth in the talents, the innate talents she gained from me, and I walked out on her. Fuck her. Fuck that kid. But she's your older sister. Let's invite her over to dinner. Maybe we'll eat her with a side of fava beans. This show, the characterization and the plotting of this show is all over the place. I mean, to have this episode where they're doing much more traditional, goofy, slice-of-life anime stuff, in the animation style, in the facial expressions and things, the blush on the face, which is kind of, in contrast to everything we've seen, a much more straight-laced, adult drama sort of, playing out in animation form up until now. And, as soon as I saw Ayano being a complete goof, a buffoon about the Weiwei whale shark, stuff, I was sort of incredulously grimacing. I was just the picture of incredulity. I'm like, are you kidding me? She's been a psycho bitch. She's been a sociopath for the last few episodes. Now you're going to try to make her charming and likable? And immediately when I started to recognize what Connie was doing, as soon as she walks over and she pockets that little keychain, and you saw her still wearing the face of happiness, but then of course when she's left alone with Ino and she first utters that phrase, I want to be a family, I want us to be a family, it was like the other leg dropped, and I appreciated what actually was the focus of the episode. But I also sort of grimaced as well, because I knew it was a foregone conclusion that it was meant for failure. You know, Connie was effectively going and slamming her head into a wall. The wall that is Ino, the unlikable, mean, just psycho. And so, what is the point of this show? How, you know, most things you can get behind a character. And this show has two characters who are the mains. One who begins the show completely unlikable and has kind of become more down to earth and more relatable and likable. But even then, she's being kept at an arm's length of focus because we're focusing on the psycho bitch in Ino. And it's like, oh, am I supposed to like her? You know, how can I like her? I like Connie more because Connie's actually human. She's actually expressing compassion. The thing that I like the most about the episode is the one girl that I can't think of the name of, you know, because I haven't learned all the background character names. She's sort of making eyes at the boy. You know, the boy in like the last episode got her like a drink and told her to, you know, pick herself up and you know, not succumb to self-defeat, a defeatist mentality or whatever it was. And so he buys her a drink and he goes off. But you saw her like looking after him in that previous episode. And so this episode, she's actually looking at him. She has an interest in him now. And she even tries to sort of follow up on that when he's like training off by himself. She knows where he's going to be in like a park. And she goes and gets a bottle of Pocari Sweat and she's going to give it to him as sort of, you know, a return, a reciprocation. And I was defeated when that failed because he puts in the earbuds and he runs off, you know. And I was like, where's that episode? Let's focus on those two. Fuck Ino, you know, fuck Nagisa. I care more about this girl that I've spent so little time with, similarly with Connie, than the two leads of the show, than the two on the poster, you know. So yeah, this series is really testing my patience. It's putting up in my face these really unlikable characters, and it's not like it's intriguing drama. It is the kind of drama that's unfolding with these characters is unlikability, is unrelatability. It's something that is so coarse and dehumanizing in a sense, that it's making it hard to tolerate. It's making it hard to watch. It's not intriguing like a character drama where these characters, you know, at least one of them is approachable and likable, and you feel for that character, as the other one is really unlikable and you know, threatening to break up the family ties and things like that. You can't even relate to the main characters and the people who are just, you know, completely going off the rails about how great it was to see Ino so down to earth and so likable and all this stuff. Please do not let that excuse the rest of the time where she is a psycho, where her eyes go dead like shark eyes. I guess it's pretty apropos that her favorite idol is a whale shark, even though I think whale sharks don't quite have the cold black eyes like traditional sharks do. But it's kind of, it's apropos that that's her characterization. She goes into the crazy dead eyes. And she's mean and cold and abrasive to everybody and unlikable. And it's just like, what is the point of following these characters? We should be following Connie in you know, as the main character in her encounters with Ino and trying to bridge that gap with Ino. And it should be Ino who later learns the lesson and we're like, okay, well, at least there's some fulfillment because she's had a character arc. But so far, Ino, every opportunity she's had at character growth, she's stonewalled and she just remains truly psycho and unlikable. At least in my humble opinion. This is one man's opinion. You are free to disagree, and you can let me know all about that with the down thumb or in the comments below. At this juncture, I'd like to remind you, the viewer, that you can support my videos on YouTube by clicking the link in the description below for the PayPal donate button URL link, where you can, much as Patreon is set up, you can choose how you would like to go about it. You can submit a one-time contribution, or you can set up a monthly contribution system. You can add a note there to bring up potential topics that I might talk about in future videos, and you can let me know as part of the notation if you would like some notoriety to be mentioned in those future videos, if you so choose to submit topics. And but anything, you know, thrown my way contribution-wise would be 2 thumbs up for me, and very much appreciated. And so, as I say, I'll leave it there with this particular episode and series discussion of Hanebado. But let me know in the comments below if you agree with me, if you agree to disagree with me. You know, as far as the characterization of these characters goes in this series, is there any redemption for them? Are they ever going to be likable? Is there ever going to be any satisfying fruition to all of this? You know, because right now the background characters and at least one of the antagonists are much more approachable and likable than the mains. And that's not something I readily encounter in my anime fandom. So yeah, in any case, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.